Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of No Tea, Just Coffee. I'm Tam.
And I'm Jordan.
So in today's episode, our meat and potatoes, it's a little personal for me because I'm kind of experiencing this right now, but it's about family inheritance and, just parents maybe not thinking about some of the things that they are doing that will just naturally, you inherit as the child. And then the shoot the shit, it's a rant. It's a rant about being a grown-ass adult.
Amen.
And how our parents
They
forget that and they still see us as little kids.
Yes. And treat us
Still treat us that way.
like
but
kids.
I'm a grown-ass adult.
Amen.
Okay? So that is what we're going to get into today.
Yep.
So let's kick it off. Meat and potatoes, family inheritance. So I had a rant recently about this subject because my mom, she is in the process of basically taking ownership of a family home, renovating it, and, renting it out, right? And we already have another family house that she currently lives in. It's actually her childhood home. It's actually pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's her childhood home. It's been renovated
That's awesome.
since. And so that has just kind of always been like a known property that is going to remain in the family. Like no questions asked.
Right.
That's something that will be passed on to me essentially because it's in her name to maintain and keep, right?
Yeah.
So that's always been a given. Well, there's this new property that came along and my mom, like without hesitation, just like kind of took it over, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'm going to renovate and then I'm going to rent it out. Da-da-da. And so, she's so excited about all this stuff. And she's talking to me. And in my mind, I was like, so...
Now I got two properties.
So that's two that I now have to think about, worry about. And, for some people, again, I'm different. Look, I'm a little different, all right? Like you're talking to someone who don't even want to own their own house.
Yeah.
So now I'm essentially about to inherit.
It's a lot of responsibility.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like, and again, I know it's all in like, means well, right? And I think for our parents, like their generation, and for others, but really for their generation, it is about ownership and having your own and being able to pass along to, your child, et cetera. Yep. But I do feel like there has to be a discussion.
It does.
Unfortunately, there really hasn't been much talk with me about the expectation.
Right.
There wasn't even a conversation to say, hey, I'm going to take this over.
And it's so will you eventually.
And eventually it will fall to you. To even ask if I even want that.
And I think we talked about that too. It's because so my dad will be 80 next year, but he still has a young mindset. Like he don't look 80, he don't act 80. So I think our parents just don't realize you're getting older and there will be a time where I'm going to have to inherit some of these things very soon, sooner than later. But I think they just still in the go mode.
And that's exactly what it is. Just going, and not thinking about like, these do need to be like
the long term. Yeah.
There has to be a conversation, because again, like there just wasn't even anything of like, would you want to take this on?
Right.
Because I would have told her no.
Exactly.
So then if I don't want to, then let's find somebody else in the family
that wants to,
that we trust, that we know will maintain, take care of the property.
Absolutely.
But now it's like, now that's two that's about to fall underneath me. And actually recently I tried, okay? I tried to like start a conversation about this. Now, keep in mind, I am still scared of my mom, okay? and I'm about to be 40, but I'm still scared of her.
Yeah.
Okay. It is instilled in me. You better respect an adult. Okay. So I was trying to have a conversation about it. And I forget what I said or how I got into it, but I essentially was saying like, how like kind of makes me nervous to think that, you know, that I'm about to inherit two properties, 2 houses. And her response was, why? I was like,
oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, this conversation is not.
Let's table that.
Yeah, let's just, and literally.
That was it.
That's all.
Because you're not even thinking how I'm thinking.
Yes.
There's no commonality there.
There's nothing. And that's what it is. It's like,
yeah.
my mom's mindset is different than mine. You know, like, that is just, that's how she is. She's like, oh, I can own this, own this, own this, own this. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let me say that.
If you are built for that,
yes,
go on with your bad self.
Yes.
Me, on the other hand, no.
But yeah, you know, it's kind of like you have to, I guess I would say like parents, like as you start to own certain things, and you got to think about that with your child, and also have the conversation. That's the one thing that was missed. There was no conversation.
You know, that's a hard, now as you're talking, I'm thinking that's hard for our parents because now the roles kind of have reversed, and people talk about that as they have parents that are aging.
Yep.
The parent almost turns into like their child because now you're having to step forward and make all of these decisions. But I don't think our parents think about having those before, you know, God forbid the parent has dementia, or God forbid the parent, you know, passes away suddenly. And now you're like, well, what would dad want me to do? Or what would my mom want me to do? It's like, we didn't even have any of these conversations. So like Alfred's grandfather, when he passed, no conversation about what to do with the house.
See, yeah.
And it was really sad because they had been there for so long. Alfred grew up in that house.
Right.
And the house just is sitting. You know, eventually, you know, I think the state took it over or whatever. But it's like so many memories and things that is disheartening because you don't think they will be gone. And when they are, you're like, dang, now I've got all these things. What do I do with it?
And I mean, yeah, for us as the child, but it also has to come from the parent too, you know, like
they definitely gotta be willing to have the conversation.
Like there has to be that conversation of like, what are your expectations? Yeah. You know, like
also with debt too.
Oh,
you know, you hear a lot of the horror stories where, you know, you think the parent was doing what they needed to do financially, and then they pass, and then
you find out
the child now has to pay off the house, or they then inherit all this debt, which puts their family at risk and so it's like either way it goes, whether it's a positive where Tam is inheriting 2 homes, maybe / negative, or a complete negative, like holy cow, you had what? I don't know what I was watching, but it was like this parent had all these different financial secrets, like all these things. Man. They will come out.
Yeah.
Because when the state get involved or whatever gets attorneys.
Wait, so I don't know if I knew this actually.
Yeah.
So like you inherit your parents' debt?
I don't know how that.
What?
Well.
Oh my God.
If there's not a spouse alive.
Yeah.
I think it just. And I'm not any way, shape, or form a legal.
Somebody let us know, because I want to know.
But there is, I don't know if the parents set this up, but you do hear about them inheriting all this debt, and then the house, they didn't pay off the house you thought they did. It's like all these things that you're unraveling that now you have to make major decisions about. You're like, I didn't even know he had all these different accounts, or I didn't even know. It's like.
So let me ask you, what would you do? Like if you were in my situation and like you see like your dad, he's moving on his own. He hasn't said a word to you. He ain't done nothing, but you know
it's
like,
coming.
1 + 1 = 2. Like, you know, like you're putting the puzzle pieces together of like, okay, so this will eventually be mine. But there's been nothing like. But there's been no
conversation.
Like what would you do in that situation? Or how would you feel? Because again, you're talking to someone. I don't even want to own a house.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, it is hard because I too, my dad is a very headstrong, big guy. He's intimidating. He's always been my whole life. But it's hard for me to have conversations with my dad anyway on any topic. So I probably would be in the same boat as you because I would probably try. And then my dad will deny until he's blue in the face. And then we would have to have that conversation. And it probably, for me and my dad, would probably turn a little sideways. Because we both headstrong. So it would probably be like, well, what do you mean? This will be my, it's kind of like, again.
Like they don't see the problem or the issue with it.
And they may see it, and I'm not saying your mom will, but it may come off like a disrespect. Like, what do you mean I can't buy this house? Because it ain't that I'm saying you can't buy the house.
Right.
But this house will be somebody's. It won't be yours when you gone.
Right.
It's gonna be mine. Or I'm gonna have to figure out how to sell it. And that's a whole process in itself too. So that's a very tricky thing because I mean, we even talked about that with my childhood home that my dad lives in. My dad is remarried now. She has kids, and we talk about, and he has, 5 girls that will inherit this house and whatever other assets he has. So that's going to be a thing. Because we don't know how it's going to go, to be honest. And we do need to have that conversation because he'll be 80.
That's where a will comes in place.
And we don't know what the will says. So we will have to talk about the will.
Yeah.
All these things are hard to me.
It is. It is it's difficult. Are
you going to try to have the conversation again?
I need to.
Yeah.
I really do cuz I need her to just know just kind of where I stand with it. Like, and even She talking about all these, like, so recently she actually had some tenants in there. They weren't the best.
So I heard.
They were not very clean.
Whew.
And when I say they went in on this house, it was
Jesus.
I mean, throw the whole house away. Like, that's literally, that's just like, oof. It was so bad. And so,
how do people live like that?
That's that, right? That part.
What are y'all doing?
That part. When I say there was like,
ooh, this is about to give me chills.
Like, there was literally there was trash in the front yard. And then on the side of the house, it's supposed to be a walkway to get to the back, right? So you don't have to go through the house. There was piles of trash all the way down the piles, okay? Like, you could shovel up all this trash all the way down.
How did the trash get all the way down?
How would you just open up your window? What?
Dumping the trash outside?
I mean, there was a broken lawnmower. There was, I think, like a kid trampoline. There was so much stuff. Oh my God. And this was just on the outside. Okay. Right. So anyway, my mom, she had to put in a lot of work and she still is, right, to get it re-prepared. Yeah. For someone else to rent. Yeah. To rent. But those are things that I don't want to have to think about that.
You're gonna have to do property management. Renovations. It's a lot
for two
houses.
I already know the one that's set in my mind. Yeah. That is got it. But now you adding another one,
and you got to deal with tenants. Which, if they anything like those tenants, throw the house away. Okay. And the tenants, just throw it away.
Okay,
throw it all away.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy because I just saw on Instagram a gentleman that I follow, him and his family. He has multiple properties. When I say they tore up, just to your point, Tam, it was holes in the wall. Oh, the sink was full of, thick grime. Oh, all over the counter. I'm not even going to talk about the bathroom because I'm going to throw up. And people were living just recently in this filth.
How?
Like, you're literally living in a dumpster. A
Like, literally.
house-sized dumpster. Like, why do people just take their trash and dump it inside their own house?
I don't understand that neither.
Trash cans are cheap.
Yeah.
Get a damn trash can.
Get a bag. Get something.
Look, the dollar store has cleaning products. Like, how? And you continue to use.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. Just disgusting.
It's
disgusting.
I can't. So.
But I guess so as you get older, you have your son, and like, is that like, is that something where, I mean, I guess kind of hearing my situation, you know, is that something that you would try to be proactive and like have a conversation, you know, with your son as he gets older?
So me and Alfred have talked about, once we get a little older, we do want to buy, you know, a couple properties to rent. And that's just because, you know, Alfred knows most of everything about a house. Right. So renovations, you know, that kind of thing. So we would have to manage that, but you got to be ready for that.
Yes,
you got to be ready to deal with other people.
Absolutely.
But I did mention to him recently, like, I don't want Elliot to have to worry about, and I'm not saying I'm going to give it to him, but I do want to provide him with his first house as soon as he gets on his feet and can show me that he has, you know, reliable income, consistent income. I would like to gift him a house that he can maintain on his own. So that will definitely have to be a conversation, because my son may say, I don't want that house. And I have to respect that. And
you know what? That's a good point, because even this family home, like, you would think, like, naturally, like, whenever, you know, whenever my mom, you know, leaves or whatever, that I would just move into that. I don't want to live in that house.
I was actually going to ask you that.
I don't want to live in that house.
Yeah. Your mom has a big house too, right?
No, it's not that big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's you can, I mean, I think if you like decorate it, right, it can feel spacious, but it's not that big of a house, but I just personally
don't want it.
Don't want it, you know?
I mean, unless,
but again, you have to think of inheritance, right? Like, whatever is in your name, it's going to automatically pass on to your child, you know? So I just feel like, I and again, because I'm in this situation, I just feel like those are conversations you have to have with your child, because that is just the natural path, or with someone else in the family. Yeah. That you know you can just, you know, you can depend on. Because you can't depend on everybody. You can't depend on everybody. Whether it's family your child, or not. I was going to say family or not. There may be a best friend that's more reliable. Absolutely. And put that in your will, because not that Tam is unreliable, but your lifestyle, you don't want to own a home. You don't. Nope. That's a huge burden. Yep. I mean, Tam and I had this conversation too before she moved out of her last place. It was like, do I go back into this space, or do I buy a house? And let me tell you something. If I was single with no kids, I don't want to take care of the responsibilities of a house. Yeah. Now, I may do like a condo or a townhouse like Tam has, and it has a yard space. I want low maintenance. I actually have a friend that went from owning a house, but she's single, and she went back to an apartment. And I do not blame her. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, our air conditioning unit went out, and during the hottest, it was the hottest week of the summer. Y'all know I'm getting sidetracked. Our whole living room, we had an air mattress. Oh my gosh. We brought my son's TV downstairs so he could play the game while we're watching TV. Oh my gosh. We got a fan. But when I say, those are things I don't want to what? For two houses. Listen, I like the heat. Like, Florida's one of my favorite places, but sleeping in it, I will not do. There's no way. When I say I sweated so bad. I said, if he can't come the next day, I got to get a hotel. Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm not. And it's not, that probably wasn't even safe neither, trying to sleep in that type of environment. I said, we're going to kill each other. But also, like, because I'm irritated. Like, those are, like, that type of expense and that, all of that. I'll give you another one. When we bought our first house, Elliot, the first week he was born, our water heater busted.
And Elliot, he little thing. So I'm in his bedroom and I hear bow. And then I hear, I'm actually giving him a bath,
Yeah.
I had to scoop him up. I got him, I'm running into the laundry room. The laundry room and the whole living room just flooded with water.
No.
And I opened the laundry room door and it was like, and I just stood there like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't know what to do. Water was just running. So I had to get out of shock. I was like, so I had to call Alfred.
No.
It's like immediately $1,500.
See?
And it's the first week we live in there.
See?
It's like, what?
That's crazy.
So I know I got sidetracked, but I don't blame anybody that doesn't really want to get into home ownership traditionally, the way that we say,
And I know I'm speaking about just houses. That's just because that's what I'm, going through right now. But that's an inheritance can be anything.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. And I just think those conversations need to be had. Now, my dad, he's worked it out. Now, he's talked to my older brother.
Okay.
So my older brother
knows what?
Knows. I don't know, but I think that's just kind of like when you're the older sibling,
absolutely.
you just have the information.
Yeah.
But my older brother knows
what the deal is.
And my dad has it laid out.
That's good.
He's had the conversation, and I'm like, man.
See, we haven't. And it is gonna be a tricky conversation because my dad's remarried, she has kids, he has kids. So I'm sure some of those things have been combined. So that is something that we're gonna talk about very soon, because
money, it could be like,
everything.
all these things, like
life insurance.
Yes, like
all those things.
My thing is like parents, like you have to have these conversations.
Yeah, you do.
Regardless of, it's going to be a hard conversation because no one wants to talk about.
Right.
Well, if and or when this happened, like it's a hard conversation, but you got to think about how difficult it's going to be on
your kids,
on your child or your kids if you don't have the conversation. I know someone who, this was a couple years ago now, her dad passed.
Okay.
There was nothing, like
no will,
no discussion of what to, so.
And nothing in writing?
Nothing.
Oof.
So now she trying to figure out exactly.
That's a lot.
One, now the house, okay, now it's hers, right? It done passed over to her.
Jeez.
But like, did her dad want her to try to keep it in the family? Right. And even if that is a want, that's a conversation, because again, who says I want to even try to keep up and maintain a house or a land or whatever it is, like that has to be a conversation.
And you don't know because your dad is gone, so you can't say what he would like to do. I mean, of course you know your parent, but you like, would he want me to sell her? Would he want me to keep it?
Yeah, you
can't ask, so it's a gamble that you're taking. And then, like you said, with other family members, they may have some feeling about it. But don't let anybody's feelings get in the way of what you decide to do, because that's especially if you inherited it. The question is, do they want to take it?
Right. Hello?
You got a lot of feedback, but do you want to be responsible for it? So I would definitely, and that also like a living will.
Yep.
That's something that I started. What is that? LegalZoom. You can do, you can buy a package where there's your living will, your will, all these power of attorney. It's like a package or whatever. So I've started doing that because you don't know what is going to happen. Life happens. Yeah. And then, my 11-year-old is stuck. He's not an adult. So somebody could take advantage of that. Yeah. Or not. You know what I mean? So I think definitely a conversation needs to be had. And I guess we kind of learning our lesson from our parents to do better.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
So Tam, keep us updated on how the conversation.
Yeah, I'll let y'all know. I will let y'all know if and when. Look, if and when my second attempt happens.
If Tam go missing, you already know.
Right.
She on the run for her mama. Okay.
Love you, Mom.
She said, "What now?"
Right.
Have you lost your mind?
Oh man. All right. Anything else on that?
Nope. That's all I got.
All right, well, let's get to this shoot the shit, okay?
Let's get into it.
This kind of relates a little bit. It can, right?
Yeah.
Just about, I'm a grown-ass adult.
Hello?
Okay? I'm almost 40.
And I done survived this long.
Hello?
Okay?
Living on my own. I'm doing my own thing. But
make good decisions.
Like, our parents, they still look at us.
As children.
Like, okay.
Literally.
My mom has a bad habit of like, she ain't about to ask me to do nothing. She gonna tell me.
Amen.
Like,
yes. Yes.
And I'm like,
you can't be telling me what to do.
Who said I wanted to?
Exactly.
I'm a grown ass adult.
I literally just told Tam that, bless my father's heart. He used to. He's boss. He's the boss of the family. You know what I mean? But I'm 37, so we got to find the middle ground. Yes. I don't answer the phone. He hates when I don't answer the phone. I call him back, so we playing phone tag. But he wants you to keep calling him until he answer, and then leaving voicemail messages like you gonna do a pop up. Now wait a minute, sir. Where's the middle ground?
Right.
Like as I get older, you got to realize like I'm not saying parents had the leeway to disrespect us in the past. But you had a little more leeway in which you just volunteered me to do stuff.
And I think...
But now, you got to make sure it fits with my schedule.
Right.
I have a whole family. I have a husband. Yeah. So, you know what I mean?
And the thing is, like, yes, I'm your child, but I'm an adult.
I'm a grown child.
Right. I'm now an adult who has her own decisions to make. Responsibilities. I have my own opinions and things that may not align with yours.
Yep.
You know?
And you got to accept that.
You have to accept and respect it.
Yes.
Now, I've never, again, I'm still scared of my mom to this day. I've never actually gotten into like, I've never gotten into an argument or like a disagreement. Now, I have disagreed with what my mom has said or what she's thought or whatever, but
and she probably thought okay, but anyways, like,
seriously,
moving
like,
on.
That's the extent of it. I've never, as much as I'm a grown ass adult, okay, I still have not still, but I've just never gotten into any type of argument or disagreement with my mom because she ain't about to cuss me out and
now,
put me in the hospital.
Like I told you, my dad will pop up. I mean, we done got into it before. Now, one thing, I'll never disrespect my dad. So if I disagree with him or if we have a back and forth, it's always respectful. And he and I are very similar. So Wait,
does he get offended like if you like don't agree?
No, he don't get offended. But if he thinks I need to do something, then he's going to go off about it like, you need to do this. No, I don't. And he's like, yes, you do. No. I normally be like, okay, Dad. So we can end it and I move on. You know, like right now we got a little, situation, but
why is that? Like why is that a hard and look, I don't have kids, so I don't know. Is that just a hard switch for parents to be like, look, I done raised you. I did X, Y, and Z to now like you're talking to an adult. Like, yes. You got to ask me. You got to get my opinion, or you can no longer
just be running me over with these.
Yes.
And I think you want your child to be independent and to raise them to make decisions on their own. And our life paths are different. You know, what my dad did or saw or went through, totally different than me. So we have a different idea about certain things, where my dad is very traditional in some ways. I'm not. So I think parents, especially my dad's generation, there's not a lot of gray. So either black or white. Yes. It's no gray. It either is or it isn't. And for me, I'm like, but it ain't always.
It isn't always.
Yes or no. Sometimes it depends on the situation. So my dad's 80 and he hasn't changed.
And he's not.
He most certainly, he ain't going to change because we've been going through this my whole life.
Now, my dad, he's my dad is a little bit. He's just a little bit more calmer. So he has been able to like kind of switch,
bend a little.
Yeah, bend. There we go. He's been able to bend because he realized his kids are grown.
Yes, we are grown.
Like we are grown. So,
and I'm not sure. Like, what do I got to do to make you see that I'm grown? Like
nothing. It's not. It's just not.
It's not gonna happen.
It's just not.
Because I already know.
No.
After we have this conversation,
just
it ain't gonna get through to him.
It's not.
It's more for me than anything, just to let him know, like, I disagree with this.
I was gonna say I have just learned to live with it.
And the thing is, my dad,
I'm not gonna win this fight.
he wanna go.
Yeah.
And for me, the older I've gotten, the less I'm gonna go with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we never like shout and yell and be disrespectful, but my dad likes to debate on a lot of things. So for me, like this week has been a very long, strenuous. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I have no energy. The only energy I got is to sit and watch TV and mind my business. But my dad wants to debate about a lot of things. So me saying, okay, Dad, I'll talk to you Sunday.
Yep.
When I say he was steam out of his ears, that's why he like, what?
You gonna talk? Okay? No. We gonna talk now.
That's him. Listen, now don't do that because now you poking the bear.
What you mean you gonna talk to me, right?
What you mean? Okay, that. Listen, I'm trying to. All right.
Oh my god.
We'll talk about this later because I don't want to talk about this right now. But my dad, we don't talk about this right now. That's how my dad is.
Oh man. Okay. No, it ain't that bad for me. Ooh, no, it ain't that bad for me.
And you know how I am. I will shut down.
Yeah.
So a lot of times he be going in, and I just be sitting there like,
okay. Yeah.
I just let him go,
yeah.
and I be like, all right. And I go on about my business because he want that energy. Now sometimes I give it to him, but as I get older, I ain't got that extra.
I know that's right. And like we said, at the end of the day, we are grown adults.
Grown.
Like, give us
some grace, just a little bit.
Put some respect on our name a little bit. Hey, just a little bit of respect, okay?
Ooh, please.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that was just a little rant we just had to get off our chest.
Let us know if y'all agree with it. Like, is it just us?
Right.
Like, is it difficult to have hard conversations with your parents? I mean, some parents step over boundaries way too much. Mm-hmm. You know how.
I was just thinking about this. It also depends because I have an aunt. I remember growing up. She wasn't like the old school parent like ours is.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like
friendship.
Like a friendship, but she was still the parent though. Like my cousins knew, like, don't disrespect, don't cross that line. But she was very just kind of a little bit more open, right, open-minded. And so, like, now we're adults, and you know, I see how she interacts with my cousins or whatever, and you know, just how they talk about things. I'm like, man,
never. I would never.
Must be nice.
I mean, you know, me and my dad will joke.
Yeah.
But there's certain conversations I can't have with my dad because I remember I slipped up and said shit one time on the phone with him. And I said, I'm sorry, Dad.
Oh, I would. Yeah.
And he was like, oh, no, it's all right. And we went on. But that was just like last year.
Yeah, no, I still
didn't want to.
No. No. And I will, and if I do, I'll be like, excuse me, like if I need to maybe use a word in just talking about a conversation or whatever, I'm like, excuse my language real quick.
Like, I'm not trying to be rude or nothing, but
yeah,
because it could go left.
It can, yeah. So I just think it just depends on maybe the parent.
It does,
because our parents are very old school, traditional.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So let us know. Do y'all have these same problems?
Okay. Because we out here struggling.
Give us some advice.
Love you, Mom.
Yes. Dad, love you too. Even though you drive me crazy.
Oh, man. All right. Well, guys, I think that's it.
Yes.
Anything else before we wrap it up?
That's all. That is it.
Well, per usual, make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
Click the button.
Tell
a
a
friend.
friend.
Right. Tell a
All
friend to
that.
tell a friend.
Yes.
Their cousins, mamas,
some-
daddies, aunties.
Share.
Share,
Subscribe.
share.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys watching another episode. Don't forget, no tea.
Just coffee.
Bye.
Bye.